here we go, trip number 2. See if we can pick up some more cards. All right, you want to talk about a flea market haul? So here is all of the cards that I just picked up from the flea market, which I'm actually shocked at what I got for the price I got. So let me go ahead and show you what I paid. $54.50. And between all these piles right here, 335 cards. And that comes out to 16 cents each. It's just insane to me that I got so much value here. So let me go ahead and show you what I pulled in and found in these boxes. And again, these were dollar boxes that were 4 for $1, so 25 cents each. And I just walked up to the guy at the cash register and said, how about 50 bucks for all these? And he said, okay, 16 cents each. So let me go ahead and show you. Brandon Belt. A lot of these are variations. DL Hall, Perez, Neon Dion, Kirby Puckett, John Smoltz, rookie. It's actually in pretty decent shape. Little Nolan Ryan on the Idols. Nolan Ryan, the banker. That's a Nolan Ryan card. Little Alan Trammell. Now, a lot of these are Detroit Tigers for my personal collection. But George Brett, MVP, Cal Ripken, Kirby Puckett, Tony Gwynn. So some of these have price tags on them or stickers with like 25 cents. Here's a checklist, 88, I think, or no, 87 Don Ross checklist. Dylan Carlson. Apparently there's $1. I don't know if he tried to sell these later. Garrett Cole on the blue hollow. Soderstrom. Pedro Martinez on the hollow. Little Johnny Bench on the Don Ross hollow. Dave Winfield. Mike Yastrzemski on numbered to 500. Will Clark, my favorite player growing up. Juan Gonzalez on the blue hollow. Colin. Raman Yump, 87 Don Ross. Jace Jung, King Griffey Jr., 2023 Don Ross. Juan Gonzalez, Nolan Ryan, Fleer Ultra, that's in great shape. Don Mattingly on the Fleer. Will Clark, RIP, Ryan Sandberg. Got a little Bo Jackson there in the middle. Mark McGuire, John Smoltz. Little Bobby Bonilla, Will Clark. And then Cecil Fielder. Just going to keep it going. Mackenzie Goer. Went to my high school. Crawford. Look at this. Reggie Jackson. 84 tops. Oh, Fernando Valenzuela Socha on the, I think that's 81. Tim McCarver. Dave Bergman, Willie Norwood. Rookie outfielders. Chicago White Sox. By the blue, it's a 77. Number to 2024, number to 799, number to 799, number to 2024. That's not numbered, that's just a yellow variation. Julio Rodriguez, Baez. Like I said, a lot of these are Detroit Tigers or Detroit players for my personal collection. Doc Gooden. Easter foil. Kansas City Royals on the blue. I'm pretty sure that's not numbered now. Oh, Mike Schmidt on the 87 tops. Andrew Bogarts, 2024. George Foster. Number to 999. Pittsburgh Pirates. Bill Robinson, Oscar Gamble, Cal Ripken, Freddie Peralta. Chase Headley. Little Sparky Anderson. Look at that. Montreal Expos, Larry Herndon, Willie Horton. Look at this, Vita Blue. Expos team again, Lance Parrish. More Easter foils. 71 tops, Skip Lockwood. 83 checklist, Easter foil. Look at this, Ralph Hulk, Tigers manager. I think that's 81. Babu Bonilla, Max Anderson, and then a couple basketball, Cade Cunningham, Franz Wagner on the blue, Tyler Hero on the flux, Red Cracked Ice, Duran, Paul George. All right, a lot of these are football, I believe, so we got a 88 tops cutout. Gene Washington rookie. Little Warren Moon. Bill Thompson. Dan Marino. Joe Montana on the tops gold. 16 cents Steve Largent. New England Patriots. Barry Foster on the foil. Leroy Selman. Another 88 tops cutout. Doug Flutie, Bruce Smith. Little Bruce Smith. Mike Singletary. Marcus Allen. Jim Otto. Ken Stabler. Great quarterback for the Raiders. Jack Lambert. Dan Marino and Jerry Rice on the score supplemental. Found a lot of Dan Marino, the Brownies. Aiden. So this is Sage, which I think that's what you find at like Walgreens. Dan Marino, Dan Marino, Dan Marino, Dan Marino, Dan Marino, Dan Marino. Corey Davis on the die cut. Josh Jacobs. Marcus Gastino. Can't even say his last name. Dan Marino. Randall Cunningham on the 92. That's actually pretty good shape. Jerry Rice on 1,000-Yard Club. Jerry Rice. Peyton Manning on the black. Dan Marino. Dan Marino. Little Marshall Faulk on the disco. Amon. Marcus Allen. Darnell Mooney. Little Icky Woods. Little throwback. Stephen Gilmore. Like I said, a lot of these are like rookies and variations. James Harrison. Stevenson. Hopkins on the yellow. Peyton on the golden moments. Joe Namath on the golden moments. Little Jared Goff for the PC. Greg Olson, rookie. Derrick Henry. Andre Ware. Andre Ware. Rookie card. Eric Sanders. John Elway. Peyton. Troy Aikman. Dan Marino. Jerry Rice. John Elway. Troy Aikman. Julio Jones on the hot rookies. Troy Aikman on the 93 Classic. Jim Kelly. Look at this. Dan Marino. Trent Dilfer on the mirror image. Wonder what that's worth. Dick Butkus. Fred Taylor. That's a pretty thick card. Bowman Gold. A.J. Brown. Mark Brunell. Barry Sanders. Edwards Hilaire. Dan Marino. Khalil Mack. Brian Robinson Jr. Little Icky Woods again. Cameron Jordan. Drake London. Greg Olson, rookie. 4 of them. Adam Thielen. Football heroes. Dan Marino. I'm not a Dan Marino, like, I don't love the player. I just, for 16 cents, or actually for 25 cents, I just started picking them up. Jerry Rice, 90 Fleer. You know, he's a Derek Thomas and the rookie. A lot of these players are well known, and a lot of them that I'll basically turn around and sell on my whatnot. Aerial threats. Lots of Dan Marino. So if there's a Dan Marino fan out there, then I got you. I definitely got you. So there's 2 cards, because that is Donovan Mitchell on the splash. So actually 336 cards. Little Dolphins. Was this 88 tops? Joe Montana. Little Walter Payton. Sewell. Jameson Williams rookie. Nico Collins. Bucky Irving. I mean, 16 cents. Little Michael Parsons on the wild card mat. Premier. Little Reggie White. Chris Spielman. Telling you, there's a Dan Marino fan. I got you. Or Troy Aikman. Marvin Harrison on the Topps Finest 2005. Look at this. Thurman Thomas on the, pretty sure this is Upper Deck. Yeah, Upper Deck. Hollow. DeAndre Hopkins, Dan Marino, Peyton, Dan Marino, another mirror image, Aiden. I mean, too good of a deal to pass up. Look at this little John Zook. Of course, it got written on, but 71 tops. Reggie Bush, rookie. Little Tim Tebow. Chris Carter. I got a lot of Troy Aikman, too. Junior Seau, Deion Sanders on the Players Club. Matt Stafford. Brandon Lloyd on the Bowman Gold. That's, again, a thick card. Chris Carter. Jerry Rice. Josh Allen. Keith Jackson on the Topps Gold. Herschel Walker, Ground Force. Franco Harris, Hall of Famer. Rome on the rookie. Orange Pumpkin, score treat. Derek Thomas, rookie. Vic, Peyton, Drew Brees, Levi, little Dion, base, Barry, Tyrann Mathieu on the die cut, Bruce Smith, Wes Welker, Peyton, Greg Olson, Walter, Michael Irvin, another Rome on the score treat, Chris Carter on the Platinum Players Club, and then Kyler Murray. All right, let's take a look at how I did. See if there's any big cards in here. Okay, you definitely don't want to miss out on these results that I just pulled from the flea market on my second trip. So, looked everything up, found the values. Basically, to recap, 335 cards. Total cost at the flea market, $54.50. So, 335 cards, 16 cents each. Total value, $533.55. My mind is blown at that because profit, if I sell these for the value, $479.05. That's a return on my money of 879%. I didn't even think flea markets existed anymore. Now, I'm going to show you these four cards because these are the biggest pulls from this second trip to the flea market. The first one we're going to start off with is the 92 Topps Gold Joe Montana, worth $4. Again, this was in the 25-cent each card bin, and I pulled this $4, mint condition. Second card is this is a 1999 Upper Deck Retro Walter Payton, which surprisingly is worth about $5. Again, mint condition, worth sending off for grading. The next card is going, and this actually surprised me, was the 1992 Upper Deck Football Heroes Checklist Dan Marino. This is worth $6. Again, mint condition, worth sending off for grading, which shocked me. And if you collected in the early 90s, you know about Upper Deck and the Baseball Heroes set and the Football Heroes set, but that checklist is worth $6 consistently. That's not, I just picked the $6 one and it's really like $1.50 or $2. It's consistently $6. Now, here's the biggest pull. This is a 1995 Upper Deck Collector's Choice Platinum Players Club Chris Carter, worth $9. $9. Huge pull. Great condition in mint condition. 16 cents right there. huge value. To say that I had a great trip to the flea market, which surprisingly, surprised me, is an understatement. I will be going back for a third trip, see if I can find anything else. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and drop me a comment. Let me know if you got a flea market, if there's any cards there that you picked up. See you guys in the next video.